Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for today's topic, we will discuss on the dissolution of marriage by way of talaq. So for dissolution of marriage, there are two types. First is by way of divorce. Second is by way of dissolution by the court. So if you look into the types of divorce, okay, we have huluk, we have ta'liq, we have li'an, fasah, and also talaq. Okay, so some issues for you to think. The first one, Osman said to his wife while he was drunken, "I will divorce you 3 times." And what is the effect of the pronouncement of talaq? Number 2, Rahim, while in coma, pronounced 1 talaq to his wife Rosita. Okay, so the first thing which you should know is the definition of talaq. So the meaning of talaq is to untie. Okay, the untying knot of marriage by using specific words that explicitly means divorce. And these are some of the authorities which you can see from the Quran and also Hadith. So some said that the talaq or dissolution of marriage by way of talaq is in the hands of the husband. Why? Because first, it was said that men are more patient and calm in times of stress. And second, it relates with the responsibility of the husband towards the wife. Therefore, the power of talaq or dissolution of marriage by way of talaq is in the hands of the husband. There are altogether 4 pillars of talaq. Okay, so in order for a talaq to take effect, there must be fulfillment of all the pillars of talaq. The first one is the person who pronounced the talaq, meaning the husband. In this sense, it means that the pronouncement of talaq must come from the husband, who is the legal husband of the wife. Second, the wife or the legal wife of the husband. Third is sigah, okay, pronouncement, whether explicit or implicit. And finally, the intention of the husband, whether to divorce or not divorce the wife. Okay, so the first one, okay, the first requirement, which is husband. So the husband must be a person who is of sound mind, major, and also voluntary. Voluntary here means that he pronounced the talaq without any coercion from any other person. In the case of Major Muhammad Sultan, okay, he pronounced the divorce while he was drunken and said that he was very angry and had lost his senses. And the appeal board directed the case to be retried before another judge. Okay, so you can read further this case in your textbook. Number 2, the requirement of the wife. So the wife must be the legal wife of the husband. Okay. In this case, the court referred to the sentence, "It's over between us." So "it's over between us" was pronounced by the husband. Okay. And it was admitted by the husband that us in his pronouncement refers to himself and also his wife. And the defendant testified that the plaintiff had pronounced the talaq and had understood that the pronouncement was meant to divorce the defendant. So the wife also understand the pronouncement of the divorce made by the husband, and the court said that the requirements relating to the wife has been fulfilled. Number 3, sirah or pronouncement. So pronouncement might be explicit or implicit. Pronouncement here means the pronouncement of talaq by the husband towards the wife. In the case of Muhammad versus Roslina, okay, the appellant said to his wife who was pregnant, "I am willing to divorce you," repeating it 3 times. So meaning that has been that has been pronounced 3 times. The word divorce has been pronounced 3 times by the husband. So it was held that 3 talaqs had been affected and appellant appeal. Okay, so the husband appealed and he said that the words and on appeal the court said that the words uttered by the husband were not explicit to constitute divorce and requires proof of intention. Okay, so even though the husband said that I am willing to divorce you, but still the appeal court said that the pronouncement of talaq made by the husband was implicit. Okay, so no divorce by 3 talaq takes place and parties were still married. Finally, intention. So the pronouncement of talaq made by the husband towards the wife must be with intention to divorce the wife. Okay, so in this case, Jasni versus Rahma, okay, the husband had divorced the wife using the expression of talaq dua. Okay, so in normal situation, we understand that talaq dua means 2 talaqs. Okay, 1 and 2 talaqs. Okay, so before that, okay, before he pronounced that talaq dua, previously he had actually divorced his wife with one talaq, and it was held that the husband had pronounced triple talaqs. Okay, so previously he had pronounced 1 talaq, and then now he mentioned that he divorced his wife with talaq dua, so 1 plus 2 here means 3 talaqs. Okay, so triple talaq should have taken place, but the husband said that talaq dua in this sense means that he pronounced talaq for the second time. Okay, so the husband, so the court said that 2 talaqs takes place. Okay, and he took the oath, and the divorce was registered as a second divorce. Okay, in another case, okay, Haji Hanafiah, a written talaq read by the husband was ineffective since he had no intention to divorce his wife. Okay, so what we can say is that the intention of the husband to actually divorce the wife is very important. Okay, even though he pronounced talaq, but lack of intention will actually make the talaq invalid, make the pronouncement of talaq invalid. And then hukum of talaq. Okay, so wajib means that when there is a serious conflict between the husband and the wife, so it is compulsory for the parties to actually dissolve the marriage. Recommended, so when the husband is unable to provide maintenance and the wife can no longer look after herself, therefore they are recommended to be separated from each other. Okay, and then forbidden, so it is forbidden to pronounce talaq when the wife is having menses, or when the wife is pregnant, or when the wife is purified but after having sexual intercourse with the wife. Okay, now the procedures of pronouncement of talaq. Okay, so talaq sunnah can be divided into 2, talaq ahsan and also talaq hasan. So talaq ahsan is you pronounce 1 talaq while the wife is in the period of purity, so meaning that the wife is not in menses, the wife is not pregnant, the wife is in purity and does not have and there is no sexual intercourse between the husband and the wife. Talaq hasan, the pronouncement of talaq 3 times in 3 consecutive periods of purity, and each of these repudiations was made during the period of purity of the wife, and on the 3rd repudiation the talaq becomes irrevocable and final. So meaning that the pronouncement of 3 talaq 3 times in 3 consecutive periods of purity, meaning that in 3 the pronouncement of 3 talaqs in 3 different times. Okay, so the pronouncement of the 3rd talaq, okay, becomes irrevocable and final, meaning that they cannot rujuk and they have to remarry. No, oh sorry, they cannot rujuk. They can remarry, but the wife must marry another person, okay, and then observe the iddah period, and finally, then only he can marry the previous husband. Okay. So you can see the case of Ramli versus Saleh. The husband had divorced the wife for the first time on October 1980, second time on July, and the third time on May. So meaning that he actually divorced his wife in 3 consecutive periods in different times. And then talaq al-bid'ah, a disapproved form of talaq and does not comply with the direction of the sunnah. For example, the pronouncement of 3 talaq at one sitting. Okay, so the husband pronounce talaq, okay, 3 talaqs at one time, and then talaq during menses, or during pregnancy, or talaq during puberty but after sexual intercourse. That's all for now. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. So let's continue with the topic of talaq. Talaq according to the Shafi'i school. So according to the Shafi'i school, there are 3 types of talaq. The first one is talaq raj'i. Okay, so what is talaq raj'i? Is divorce by 1 or 2 talaq, and it was not followed by the completion of iddah period. So meaning that the husband and wife rujuk while they are still in the period of iddah. Okay, so this type of talaq does not dissolve the marriage until the period of iddah is completed. Okay, the divorce may be revoked by the husband during the iddah period, and there is no need for a new marriage contract between the parties. For the second type, okay, talaq ba'in or irrevocable repudiation. Irrevocable repudiation or talaq ba'in can be further divided into 2 types. The first one is talaq ba'in sughra or minor degree. So this is a type of divorce whereby the divorce by the husband is either by 1 or 2 talaq, but it was followed by the completion of iddah period, meaning that the husband will rujuk the wife after the completion of iddah period. So in this situation, both parties may remarry under a new marriage contract. Another type is talaq ba'in kubra. Okay, husband at one time or different time pronounces triple talaq. Okay, I divorce you. So for example, the husband divorced the wife with 3 talaq. I divorced you with 3 talaq. Okay, that is an example whereby the husband pronounced 3 talaq at one time, or I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. Okay, different 3 times. Okay, 3 talaqs pronouncement made by the husband. The marriage is dissolved, okay, and a new marriage contract cannot be contracted until the woman has lawfully married another man and has been divorced after consummation of that marriage. Okay, and then the wife also has observed her iddah, then only she can remarry the previous husband. So the effect of 3 talaq is that parties cannot rujuk. Okay, they have to enter into a new marriage contract, but after the wife has lawfully married another man, been divorced after consummation, observed the iddah period, then only she can remarry the previous husband. Okay, and then some issues regarding talaq. Okay, what is the effect of pronouncement of talaq in drunken situation? So in a drunken situation is a state whereby a person loses his reason and consciousness, so he doesn't know what he pronounced while he was in drunken situation. So according to the Hanafi school, they say that it is a valid talaq, okay, if that person or if the husband drinks on his own, but it will be invalid if the husband is under compulsion through to drink. Okay. And then according to the Jumhur, okay, pronouncement of talaq in drunken situation is invalid because he is unable to think or act as normal person. So you can refer to the case of Major Muhammad Sultan versus Saudah, okay, as I have mentioned earlier, and you can also refer to your textbook. Okay, ingest, okay, ingest here means bergurau. So according to Jumhur, it constitutes talaq, okay. Why? Because they rely on a hadith which says that three things which are serious, and if it is make a joke will be serious, nikah, talaq and rujuk. Okay. And then in anger, okay, kemarahan. So there are different types of anger, okay, being classified by the scholars. The first one is a first degree anger. So angry at initial stage and you still can control yourself and you know what you pronounce. So the effect is that the talaq will be valid. For second degree type of angry, which is angry at a medium stage, whereby a person may act beyond his normal behavior, okay, but he has not reached the stage where he did not know what he said or done. So the second degree here means that the husband, the mood of the husband, okay, is at a medium stage, but he is still he can still know what he pronounced, and he is still conscious on what he is about to say. Okay, so according to the majority views, the talaq is valid, but according to the Hanafi school, no talaq will take place. Okay, and the third type of anger is that anger at the final stage and he did not know what he had said or done. Okay, so in this case, no talaq will take place. Pronouncement of talaq by a husband who is imbecile or idiot, okay, lemban contohnya. Okay, so a person who has little reasoning with confused speech and inadequate management of his affairs, okay, of his affairs, the talaq will not be affected. Okay, and then a person who is of old age or senile, nyanyuk, okay, if he pronounce a talaq is also not affected. Okay, why? Because he has reached a certain stage whereby he has mental confusion and also a state of senility. Okay, nyanyuk. What about a person who is under coercion? Okay, who is forced to pronounce talaq. Coercion here means force. A person who is forced to pronounce talaq. According to the Hanafi, he said that talaq is valid. Okay, but according to the Jumhur, talaq is not affected. Meaning that even if a person is under compulsion to pronounce talaq, okay, dipaksa melafazkan talaq, okay, according to the Jumhur, talaq will not take place. But according to the Hanafi, talaq will take place. Okay, and then the effect of pronouncement of 3 talaqs in one sitting. So melafazkan talaq dalam satu masa, in one sitting. For the time being, there are no specific provisions in the state's enactments as to whether triple talaqs should be considered as one of 3 talaqs. So there are judges are free to make decision based on ijtihad, okay, whether pronouncement of 3 talaq in one sitting would be considered as 1 talaq or would be considered as 3 talaqs. Okay, so according to the Imam Abu Hanifah, he said that only 1 talaq takes effect. Okay, so meaning that if a husband pronounced 3 talaq in one sitting, according to Imam Abu Hanifah, only 1 talaq takes effect. But according to Imam Shafi'i, okay, if a husband pronounced 3 talaqs in one sitting, 3 talaqs will take effect irrevocably. Okay, so these are some of the cases which you can refer to. You can read by yourself. The case of Ibrahim versus Fatimah. Okay, the case is also available in your textbook. The case of Hussein Abdul Ghani. Okay, so these cases actually illustrate how judges or how qadis actually derive to their conclusion with regards to the pronouncement of triple talaq in one sitting. So you can see the different views of the judges with regards to this issue. Okay, some said that 3 talaqs will take effect. Okay, some said that only 1 talaq will take effect. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so you can refer to the piece of article by Associate Professor Dr. Zaliha Kamaruddin. Okay, and you can also refer to the textbook by Prof. Najibah. Thank you very much, and see you later.